Hello, welcome back to Blessings Diaries. This is day 5, and I have to apologize today for day 4. I give you guys a very just came out of bed look, and I think nobody deserves to see me like that, and you guys probably got even more depressed just by looking at me. So, apologies, and yeah, I would like to take that opportunity to give thanks for whoever invited makeup or all the ones who contributed into making makeup possible. So, yeah, I thought today I would just wear a bit more color. I also noticed that all my past videos I was wearing gray or black. So, not the best way to feel good in the morning and to feel good during a day. So I think it's maybe also a little tip. Sometimes we don't feel so well, but dressing up, even being a little bit overdressed for whatever we have to do that day actually helps. Maybe you've experienced that before. So this is the first part of today's little blessing diary stories. And I thought it would still not make it only about makeup and not make it a makeup tutorial, the before and after, but maybe still stick a little story. And going back to my childhood, there's an interesting story about when I was 7. So when I was 7, I was living in Brazil. I arrived in Brazil when I was 3 years old, and we lived first in Natal, which is in the northeast region, and then we lived in Manaus with my family, which is in the middle of the Amazonian forest. And when I was 7, we moved to a town called Itu in the state of São Paulo. And we were living in a neighborhood that was not very urban, and some distant neighbors had horses, and I very much like pets already at that time and animals in general. Maybe you can hear my bird screaming from afar. So I always liked pets and animals, and we had a dog at that time that we had since I was 5-year-old, who traveled all these cities in Brazil with us. And our distant neighbors had horses. And then from a very early age, I learned how to horseback ride, and because it was their own horses, and some of them were very quiet and very nice, and I got to just enjoy the freedom of riding without saddle, and just go catch them on the fields and just mount them and walk around, run around, and that very freely life around animals, and having that sense of control of such a big animal is also such an interesting feeling for a human. Probably a similar feeling that my bird gets when she's riding on my shoulder. So it's an interesting thing that I wanted us to have our own horse, and probably like many little girls, every time there was the time to blow the candles at a birthday, I would say, I want a horse, I want a pony or a horse. No, I wanted a horse. I didn't really like ponies. And every time there's a wish, you sometimes you have the eyelashes on your chin, and people say tap the one that has the eyelash, and if you get it right, you're gonna make a wish. So all these little wishes, or in my family we say, first time you eat something, you make a wish. And my little wish was always, I want a horse, I want a horse, I want us to have a horse on our own. And it went on for probably a year or two. And at Christmas, one time, our neighbors gave us as a Christmas gift little package, and we all had to open our own package. And when we opened it, it was letters. And when we put the letters together, the letters were made by themselves, and they had little magnets on the back. So it was made with some kind of salt and flour clay, that maybe you've played with that before. And they were painted, so the letters were painted differently. And each one of us got about 1 or 2 letters in our little package. And once we put them all together, it was the name of one of their horses. And I was amazed. I said, what is this? And they told us, well, for Christmas this year, we would like to give you one of our horses. And that was, I remember as a little child, the very first time that I thought, wow, so it's actually possible to wish for something so incredible as having a horse. And it actually happens. So that was probably the first souvenir I have of what we could call a prayer answered. And from then, I really started having a different kind of faith. So, interesting story. I hope you liked it. Bye bye.